Hey guys, what's up? My name is Joshy Gaga. Thank you guys so much for checking out this video today. In my last video, I talked about all the different pop music vinyls that we have in our collection, and actually kind of just some of them. So after that, I was inspired to make another video talking about all of my soundtracks and my scores that we have on vinyl. So if you haven't seen the pop music vinyl and you want to check that one out first, I will post it up here somewhere. Before we begin, I wanted to thank you guys so much for checking out my video and checking out my channel. It means so much to me. And if you like what you see, leave a like, comment below letting me know what your favorite vinyl is. Hit that subscribe button if you feel really bad for a really anxious person trying to put himself out there on the internet. Or you just like this video and want to see some more of the crazy content that I have coming this year. Either way, thank you again and let's get started. I talked about this in my last video, but we normally keep all of our vinyl in protective sleeves and also anti-static sleeves for the vinyls on the inside. Just because we value our vinyls so much, I want to take really good care of them. So I've taken all of the vinyls out of the clear plastic sleeves, but the records are still actually in their anti-static sleeves. Now, before I can even start talking about this vinyl, I just have to say what an impact this show had on me growing up. It taught me to be scared and to be not so scared, and also like what gay people were, and that gay people were really hot and kind of witchy. And it's home to my favorite musical TV episode of all time, Buffy the Vampire Slayer's Once More with Feeling. I had the soundtrack, we had the piano book with pictures and the script and the score and all of that, and now we have the vinyl, and it is so cool, it's so charming. I love the purple aesthetic of it. The red record is just so cool and so spooky and very vampire-y, you know. If you love Buffy the Vampire Slayer just as much as I do, you know every lyric to every song on Once More with Feeling. And I would say that my favorite song from Once More with Feeling is definitely the Bunnies segment. Bunnies! Bunnies, it must be bunnies! Or maybe midgets. That or the parking ticket. See, I'm not wearing underwear. And definitely, where do we go from here? Next up, I have one of my favorite gay movies, Call Me By Your Name. It is so gay, and that's why we have the score. And also, just look at him. And also this, like, they knew who they were selling this to, and it was me. Now, I love Neve Campbell from Scream, but you have to take into account one of her other incredible performances in The Craft, which, by the way, has one of the best 90s soundtracks of all time. I guess of all the 90s. I feel like the only other movie that has a soundtrack from the 90s that is standing up to The Craft is the incredible, whatever movie this is, Cruel Intentions. Not only was it my gay awakening, I love Ryan Phillippe and his little butt. I have to say that the only record that I have from my soundtracks that is missing, that I have back at home in New Jersey, is the Clueless soundtrack on vinyl. And I feel like the three of those combined are just 90s movie nostalgia. Now, we haven't really gotten into any of the horror stuff that we own, and I think the best place to start is my newest horror vinyl purchase, Freddy's Nightmares. This is the first time that the Nightmare on Elm Street TV show, Freddy's Nightmares, has had its soundtrack released on vinyl. It has this really awesome graphic in the middle, but then the really cool thing is that when you take the vinyl out, it has the sweater behind it. So that's super groovy and kind of awesome. Freddy's Nightmares, Saturdays at 11 p.m. And the vinyl is this like Freddy flesh-toned color that is super cool and very reminiscent of Freddy's chest. I've never actually seen any of Freddy's Nightmares, which is, I'm a bad fan. Sorry, Freddy. I'm a bad fan because it's hard to find. Moving right along with our horror theme, first up, we have the original 1978 Halloween score. I love the drawing of Michael on the back in the sheets, this really terrifying painting of Michael carrying Annie in. John Carpenter's scores are just incredible, and I'm so happy that we have so many of them on vinyl, including Halloween 2018. So this is the original basic score, Michael over there. And this vinyl is really cool because it's this cool orange, kind of almost tie-dye coloring to it. But not only do we have the original version of the 2018 score, but we also have the extended edition, which is this really, really awesome vinyl. It's got Michael in the fire. It's got a graphic of the women in the fire at the end as well. And if you look, I mean, it's huge. There's so many different pieces in this. And these records are this stunning, terrifying, this awesome splatter paint with the pumpkin in the middle and the decaying pumpkin. But of course, those would not be complete without the Halloween Kills 2021 score. It's got the scary graphic of Michael in the fire again, but this time in the middle, he is back for blood. And this vinyl is, I think, another orange one, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, it is. So this is another really cool splatter paint vinyl. It's interesting how both of these relied so heavily on the fire scene, even though it's two different movies. Now, we'll step away from horror for a brief second to talk about one of my favorite Broadway musicals of all time, Hedwig and the Angry Inch. So not only do I have the Neil Patrick Harris Broadway revival, we also have the original off-Broadway production on vinyl as well. This is so cool. It's so awesome to see the pictures of John Cameron Mitchell as Hedwig in the 90s. And the vinyl is this gorgeous, gorgeous pink, this hot electric pink. And I'm obsessed. Moving back to horror for just a second, the scariest score of the 2010s is definitely It Follows from, I think, 2014 or 2015. So we have that one on vinyl, and it is so jarring to just listen to this without any of the context. And it has this really cool blue painted vinyl that I think is just awesome. As you know, I'm a lover of pop music and boy bands and all of the kind of media frenzy around that. So we were so surprised when late last year we found the awesome Josie and the Pussycat Dolls on vinyl at Amoeba Records. This is one of the most iconic movies I have ever seen. Just three small words. The picture of the three girls in the middle. And I just love this picture of them. They are just stunning. And of course, the vinyl is the incredible purple that we all know and love from Josie and the Pussycats. Just three small words. The really funny thing about the Josie and the Pussycat Dolls vinyl is not the Pussycat Dolls. So not only is there Josie and the Pussycats vinyl, but it also came with a little 7-inch Du Jour single. So this one has Du Jour Around the World and Backdoor Lover, which if you don't remember, I'm a backdoor lover, coming in the back when the sun goes down, backdoor lover. So it comes with this awesome pink Du Jour 7-inch single. Next up, from the original master of horror, we have Alfred Hitchcock's Psycho. Absolute adorable little Anthony Perkins on the back. The score from Psycho has been so iconic ever since it was released, and it's particularly really special for me because a lot of it was used in the score for Sleep No More in New York, which I worked at a few years ago. So I would hear it all the time and be like, oh yeah, that's my cue. Now, if you love Wentworth Miller and you love horror movies, you'll be so happy to find out that Wentworth Miller wrote his own horror movie. It came out in about 2010 called Stoker, starring Mia Wasikowska. Is that right? Yeah. Mia Wasikowska and Nicole Kidman, of course. It is so spooky and scary and just stunning. And it has this gorgeous, gorgeous white vinyl, which you can barely even see. There you go. It's one of the strangest, like, scary yet sexually driven / family drama horror movie I've ever seen. And I can't really say that a lot about many films, so. I have mentioned this before in some other videos, but one of my biggest all-time favorite horror movies of all time is Trick or Treat, the Halloween anthology from 2007. Of course, we had to have the score because it's absolutely incredible. I just love all of the art and the graphics for this, with all of the little kids in the background. It's so spooky. And who doesn't love Sam, right? The vinyl for these ones is this really pretty orangey, almost gold looking kind of color. Definitely reminds me of Decaying Pumpkin Kids. And last but not least, from Robert Eggers, we have the score for The Vovovich, which if you haven't seen, Anya Taylor-Joy is incredible and Black Phillip is my icon. Where is Black Phillip? Here's Black Phillip, I found him. He says, "Wouldst thou like to live deliciously?" Oh, and I totally forgot that I have this one, but I just found it. I have The Shining on this limited 7-inch pressing of the main theme on side A and Rocky Mountains on side B. So it has the iconic cover. This time it's in red instead of yellow, but the actual vinyl print of it is yellow, red, and brown, which matches the floor. I love this so much, and it's weird to put on a 7-inch 25 times a day. In 2018, I was Jack Nicholson from The Shining for Halloween, and at my desk, I just scattered all of the papers around that said, "All work and no play makes Jack a dull boy." And I played The Shining theme on repeat while I was gone for the whole day at work parties. And now The Shining theme is my most played song on Spotify ever. Still, 3 years later. That was just a small taste of all of the vinyls that we have in our collection, and I am just so grateful to be able to collect all of these things like I've always wanted to when I was growing up. I thought that I was such a loser for wanting to collect things and be interested in horror and video games and music, and I'm so grateful to be at a place now where I get to collect all the stuff that I want, and I don't give a who cares? Which is why we have so many Chucky dolls. I had such a great time going through this with you guys. If you liked this video, leave a thumbs up, comment below letting me know what your favorite vinyl that I have in my collection is, or in your collection. Let me know what you guys have, and I'd love to add some stuff to my list. This anxious boy thanks you so much for checking out his channel, and if you want to support me and see what else I'm up to this year, please feel free to subscribe. I would really appreciate it, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye! I've been having a bad day. See, I'm not wearing underwear.